Hey, don't forget, it ain't the first 48 with 60 minutes.
Come with the king, best not best. Even the score now, we need to score now. Back on that wall, when you hear that call, you know it's going down. We play from beginning to ending, you know how we finish. Turn to the bank, gotta handle our business. We need the ball, so it's time to go get it. Play with your heart when you hit, make it feel it. You know I'm with. You come to the bank and get out of line, we sending a blitz. Say who you with? You know I'm with. That purple and black, and when we attack, you know what it is.
You're now locked into Zone 32.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Zone 32 podcast. We got a few people in the building, other people coming around later. My name is Jake. His name is Drew. His name is Will. His name is Trippy. His name is Yuri. He is our special guest. You can find him on the Twitter or X, whatever the fuck you want to call him, at Yuri_Ravens. Say what's up to the people.
So you skip last.
Shut the fuck up, you piece of shit.
You skip last week's intro and then start with whatever the fuck that was. Like,
hey man,
my God,
Kitty came into the camera. I had to say hello, Mr. Kid.
I ain't gonna lie, I missed the shut the fuck up part. That's the best part.
It is the best part.
That's the best part of the
fucking
show.
Right, especially when Drew talks. He's a rat bastard.
We usually ignore Jay. He's not a real person. Him and Grant are the same person. So
it's all right. You got ball hair coming out your chin, so who gives a fuck what you say?
All right, Ginger.
That's fine. I might have a soul, but you got ball hair coming out your face. Anyway, Yuri, you have the floor for a second just to introduce yourself after I rudely interrupted you.
Yeah, what is this? Fucking The Rock segment or something?
Yeah, this is what we let Jake talk for.
Yeah.
Get to piss.
Anyways, appreciate you guys having me on. Will hit me in the DM a couple days back over the Isaiah Likely tweet, which I'm sure we'll get into. And yeah, look forward to chopping it up.
This is your third appearance here. The first time we had you on, you just
Greg
got
Roman?
caught. Yeah, leaving the fire Greg Roman leaflets. I don't remember why you kicked in time. I'm sure you were up to some kind of shenanigans. And then so this time you decided to air tight end one. So I don't know. Floor is yours to defend yourself. I agree spelling is so I'm okay with you misspelling Isaiah Likely's name. I'm not okay with the content, so we can get into that.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens historically are good at drafting and developing tight ends. And if you were to say that Isaiah Likely was a similar style or talent of player at receiver, I probably would not be making that tweet. But yeah, it's just I can go down the list of guys that they've had and signed either in free agency or have developed throughout the draft. Shannon Sharp, Owen Daniels, Dennis Pitta, the list goes on and on and on. And there is just a position they're good at finding talent in. And Isaiah Likely hasn't proven throughout a full season that he can consistently be a contributor, to say, to game. And I know that him and Andrews kind of trade off games where they're making an impact. But and that's, obviously Andrews is the tight end one. He's getting those reps, and we haven't seen Likely in that role yet. I'm just not. I've seen a lot of people throw out the take of to pay Likely now and kind of give him Andrews' contract. I don't agree with that. I would say that Likely would have to go out there and prove it in a season without Andrews for me to feel comfortable to pay him a contract upwards of $10 million a year.
Okay, so when you say somebody's replaceable, you can go out and get any person that can give you the same production at the same price. I don't think that Isaiah Likely is replaceable like that. I'm also with you. If we were to extend Isaiah Likely, I'd be lowballing him right now. I think he is capable of playing at Mark Andrews' level, but, he hasn't can do that over a 17-game season. You're right. So you'd be extending him now, a bargain be worth it, in my mind, if you extend him at all. All right, so I'm a little bit more comfortable now. I was not comfortable with your tweet before, but I get what you're saying now, that you don't want to overpay Isaiah, that we have Mark Andrews under contract, and like that contract is, coming to an end, like it's not worth it anymore, and you don't want to just fill his shoes with another overpaid type. That's fine. I can live with that.
So, I think I understood that when you tweeted it, but at the same time, it's a very easy tweet to take out of context or apply any context you want to it when you read it. So just my personal assessment of Isaiah Likely, everything you said is correct about him not performing over 17 games. That's not necessarily an indictment of him, right? Because it's just that he's been behind Mark Andrews. But as far as upside is concerned, Isaiah Likely is one of the more deadly tight end skill sets in the league. That has shown it. Like he's given you very clear indications of what he's capable of. Not to say that you can't expect that out of him over a 17-game season. I don't know. I think every player is going to have ups and downs throughout a season, but Isaiah Likely's ceiling is really, really high, and now would be the time to pay him because he is going to be cheaper. So I don't know. I mean, replaceable to me is kind of a tough word to use.
That's where I had the replaceable.
Right.
Now that I get what you're saying is that he's saying go draft I don't know, an Arroyo or a Lachey or whatever, and you can not pay Isaiah Likely $12 million. I agree. I don't think we should give him $12 million a year. I don't think he's proven that he's worth $12 million a year. So I'm not bored with that. Spelling his name wrong was great too. So I don't know how he found that. Let me tag him in it.
So someone along the lines either tagged him or he looked up his name and spelled it wrong himself. I swear to God. Now listen to this, right? We went back and forth, and it was like 9 a.m. I just woke up out of working a swing, and like I swear to God, either I'm illiterate or he spelled his name wrong in the reply and then deleted it and then replied something else. Like that was my truth. So when I replied to him, like, didn't you just misspell your name replying to me? And of course he said that he didn't. He sent whatever that was, and I hit him with the Draymond Green tap on the DeMarcus Cousins tap on the chest gift. So
yeah. So I mean, I find it for tweets like that or responding to tweets like that. But whatever.
Well, I think it was more he's replying because Yuri, he probably read it as replaceable, like you could plug anybody in and they can be Isaiah Likely. That's where the replaceable is a tough word. So he probably read it that way and was like, and my name is spelled Isaiah.
Yeah, so like this dickhead can't spell my name.
Hey, Yuri,
right,
nine times out of 10, a Ravens fan probably at him, bro. That's what you gotta realize, bro. Raven fans is messy, bro. Like we can go back to the Rashad Bateman situation when I said Ravens flock. How you feel about him? Like why tag him? Like I just feel like Raven fans is messy. Like they want drama. You feel me? Like
when
I will never understand
it. He body bagged Rashad Bateman. I didn't tag him. Nobody tagged him in the replies. He found that on his own. So. Isaiah Likely's not that quite that petty. Still, I respect it. I'm sure probably got to be hard to be a professional athlete and not look up what people are saying about you too. But
I disagree with that. I wouldn't be searching at all, dude. I have a tweet that I see that's getting like steam. I just mute that motherfucker. I don't want to see anything anybody.
I'd be Kevin Durant if I was a famous athlete. I'd just be fighting, idiots on Twitter the whole time. So that's just me. But I'm built different.
The tweet wasn't meant to be a diss towards him and like anybody can come and step in and do what he does. It just stop reaching my phone. Okay. All right. I've heard that enough. It wasn't meant to be a slight towards him. It was just the fact that the Ravens are good historically at the position. And I trust them.
That is absolutely true. 100%.
And I would trust them over a lot of positions, a very significant amount of positions of the roster to then be like, okay, we're going to let you walk. We're going to get our comp pick, and we're going to draft somebody else and reset the clock. Like, all right. It's just is what it is.
There's one aspect of this, though, that we have not gotten into. And I think
Andrews,
no. Yuri is like a stalker, a Charlie Kohler stalker. So, like, was there any motivation here that you're potentially angling for Charlie Kohler to get bumped up the depth chart?
I mean, like, almost all my tweets are, in a sense, is right. Kohler propaganda.
I think he should too. That's why I think trading Andrews and you extend Likely now. If you get Likely on a 3-year deal where you give him a huge pay raise, maybe he takes that because it's the logic of get paid twice in your prime instead of once. Wait longer to get paid. Maybe you get paid more. Maybe not. Maybe you get hurt. So like. If he takes a deal where he's got $25 million guaranteed now, $30 million guaranteed now, and then he can get paid again here or somewhere else, probably somewhere else, I don't know. I think, and you got like Travis Kelce's playing, he's 35 years old. So tight ends can play a long time,
If you gave Isaiah Likely a year, $24 million extension tomorrow, I'd be fine with it. If you gave him a 3-year, $36 million extension tomorrow, I'd kind of be like, yeah, that's a bit of an overpay. So I mean, I feel like that $8 million range is kind of the sweet spot for him right now.
I was thinking like 9 to 10, so like 27 to 30, somewhere in that range. He would take that in a second, I think. At this point, don't you think?
Yeah.
Is he even eligible for an extension? I guess he is, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Year 3.
Yeah,
Year 4.
last
Year
year of his
3,
rookie
but-
contract.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's going into year
It's year 4.
he's going into year 4. We sure about
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Yeah, 2022. 3 years have passed, so this is year 4.
Oh, they were drafted the same year as Bateman.
No, they were drafted the same year as Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
Oh,
was also-
okay. Yeah, so they're all eligible for extension.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not $12 million a year. So I guess if Yuri said I don't want to pay Isaiah Likely $12 million a year, I don't think anybody would fight you on that tweet. Maybe some people would. I don't know. We got some.
If it were up to me, and it is a bias to me, and I mean, you know, pre-draft premonitions and bias, definitely think that Kolar went through the John Harbaugh fat camp, or the PED camp, whichever one. Put a little bit of weight. Obviously, not the fastest as he used to be, but if it were up to me, I would certainly pay him and kind of slowly start disassembling the tight end room and build it back up around him, because I don't.
Pay him for what? He ain't even do shit. What?
Anyways,
Bro, what are you talking? Hold up, bro. What are you? First of all, you just said Isaiah Likely basically improved shit, right? Now, if anything, Mark Andrews need to get his ass out of Baltimore, because if anything, Isaiah Likely got better playoff numbers. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Charlie Kolar, but I feel like he ain't show nothing yet. If anything, Isaiah Likely showed more than both of them. But I mean, I see where you going at. I see where you going.
So
at,
what
I
do
see
you
where you
pay?
going.
Yuri, what are you paying Kohler then?
like $5 or $6 million a year, like that. I would.
And so you don't think that Isaiah million is better than Charlie Kohler at $5 million right now with what they've shown?
No, because I don't think Likely is as good at running this or playing in line as Kolar. And I think that's a big staple of our offense.
I mean, in an ideal world, Kohler and Likely under contract and Mark Andrews would be gone.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I agree with that.
That would room right now. I don't want to lock up either guy for any significant amount of time. I don't think you should be paying tight ends top of in general.
No, not at all.
Hey, can we be serious? Mark Andrews is not going to be on the team. He has a $17 million cap hit, and we can save $11 million by trading or cutting him. There's no chance he's going to be on the team.
What I want to know what he gets.
I already know he ain't gonna be on the
He's
team.
a weird one, Mark Andrews, because like I feel like to us, 11 touchdowns. He's been this dependable target for Lamar. Like I feel like we almost view him as more valuable, and I don't know what he actually get back in a trade. I think the perfect world is that you pair Mark Andrews with a pick and get a player back, or you get a higher draft.
And we know which player we want.
Yeah. Do we want to get into that or into what was the other fucking thing that I want to talk about? I totally drew a blank here.
Left tackle.
Oh yeah. You want to start on a positive? I guess Jake, as the moderator, you can choose our.
Let's go bad and finish with the silver lining.
All right. So bad. I don't think. Before the combine, there was a lot of people saying that there was a handshake agreement on an extension, and team was very optimistic about him coming back. Blah blah blah. Chiefs traded Joe Tooney. Now all of a sudden they would work as a Ronnie Stanley suitor when he hits the market, and no extension. So I feel like this narrative that Ronnie wants to be in Baltimore and he appreciates that they took care of him while he was hurt and all that shit, while probably true, I think that was true when he was looking down, the barrel of going to New England or Chicago. And now that the Chiefs have shown up as a suitor, I think that it's more realistic that he jumps ship and goes there. That's just the way that I'm reading that there was combine weekend. And the more closer we get to the legal tampering period and the start of the new league year, the more likely he is not coming back as our left tackle, which totally throws the offseason in disarray for me. Because then, I don't know, left tackle is clearly an incredibly important spot on the offensive line. And, our line struggled last year with a solidified left tackle. So, that's got to be your, priority number one is to get left tackle. I don't know if anybody else is as more optimistic than me that he comes back, but I don't think he's here next year.
I am.
I think if they get the deal done before the legal tampering period,
I think it's a Sunday. I think it's a Sunday announcement. It's going to be like the Odell Easter Sunday announcement.
Yeah,
I can see that because if he hits that legal tampering period,
he's gone.
Left tackle money's different. That's someone will way overpay him because left tackles are hard to find.
It's really easy to say behind the scenes.
Good left tackles.
That you appreciate Baltimore and you like how they took care of you and you like how they, helped you rehab from your injury, and that they kind of gave you your space and let you get better, and that you really want to play here and blah, blah, blah. But like when they're the only person that can offer you a legitimate dollar amount, I feel like it's really easy to say, oh yeah, feelings mutual. But the second the Chiefs come in with a 5-year, $100 million contract, it's kind of like, yep, see you guys.
Well, it's going to depend on structure too. So EDC may need to be more aggressive with structure. But
if it's a 5-year, $100 million, it's not necessary. That's not necessarily out of our price range.
Well, no,
really, that's just a hair more than
but what I'm saying is
Jackson.
a 5-year, $100 million contract on paper. Oh great, $20 million a year. It's not necessarily like a lot of times you can walk away from a lot of that money. So I'm saying if EDC offers him 3 years, $65 million, and he's basically and guarantee, I don't know, 45 of it or something like that. That could be more appealing to him. If the money's close or if the guarantees are better, he's going to stay here. So I think EDC just is going to have to be more aggressive than he originally intended with knowing you absolutely cannot let Ronnie Stanley go to Kansas City. Can't do that.
Right, the left
that's their big weakness is the left side of their offensive line. And
we let Orlando Brown go there, and it didn't really matter.
Well, we traded him, but I'm saying right now, Kansas City's the left side of their offensive line is a fucking debacle. We have our left tackle, if we can get Ronnie Stanley back under contract, we have our left tackle for potentially the next 3-4 years, and we have our right tackle, and obviously we have our center. So addressing the interior offensive line is one thing. Having to address the interior offensive line and left tackle is a fucking disaster. Because we're in a position where we're not having to do a whole lot of upgrades to really still be, the projected AFC champion or, in the mix for it anyway. So, but if you lose the left tackle, if we have to start over, take a chance on someone, whether it be a veteran or draft someone and start a rookie, it's a totally different fucking conversation.
Yes, I mean, I guess my thing, I don't want to be tied to Ron for 5 years.
I don't either, but that's a 5-year contract is bullshit. Ronnie Stanley's not signing a real 5-year contract.
Right, but if the Chiefs into a real 5-year contract and we're offering a 5-year contract that's really 2 real years, like we're fucked. And I don't want to get into that bidding with Chiefs, which is why I think he's gone. I think he's smart enough to know, like, we went down this road once when Ronnie's paid and Ronnie's happy, like, he's going to miss practices, he's going to miss games, he's going to milk injuries. And so, like, I'm all set with that. I want a motivated Ronnie, a short-term contract who's going to keep playing for his guaranteed money every year. Because that's the best Ronnie that you get. So
Kansas City doesn't really guarantee a lot of money. And that's one of the reasons that Tyreek Hill wanted to trade. Patrick Mahomes signed a $500 million contract that is, he's gotten paid like, I don't think he's seen $200 million of that.
Yeah, but he's got like weird springing bonus.
No, he does.
Shit.
He does, but that's what I'm saying. So if the way they're going to structure a contract with Ronnie Stanley at his age and with his injury history, they're not going to give him some crazy guaranteed money. So, for him, it's going to come down to probably. If the Patriots come in and offer him $75 million guaranteed, he's going to go to the Patriots. But
I promise you, he will not come to Massachusetts.
All I'm saying is, like, if a bad team comes in and gives him an offer with a ton of guaranteed money, that changes things. But Ronnie, I think, deciding whether he wants to stay here, finish what he started with Lamar, and make similar money, or go to Kansas City, that's where I'm like, I don't see him doing that. He's been in the trenches for this whole thing. Your audio is fucked up, Drew. You're the fucked up audio today.
You're the fucked up audio today. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
It was echoing back, so it must have been like your bottom of your phone speakers.
Okay, so everybody was confident, extension in hand. He was coming back before the combine. What changed between the combine and now that people are not as confident? It's that the Chiefs got in the mix. So no. He was never going to New England.
Wrong.
What changed then?
The Rams signed their left tackle to a 3-year deal. That's what changed. Their left tackle got re-signed by his team. That's what changed.
His suitors that were going to pay him a shit ton of money were the Bears and the Patriots. And so it's really easy to say, I love Baltimore and I want to stay in Baltimore when you're looking at going to a rebuilding Bears team or a rebuilding Patriots team. And now all of a sudden the Bears trade for Joe Thuney. They're off the board as a team that's going to potentially sign you. And now the Chiefs are an open spot. Ronnie cares a lot about legacy and other shit that, nerdy Notre Dame guys care about. So
Well, why would the Bears be out because they traded for Tootie though?
I'm saying that like he doesn't have to worry about getting like they're not the only legitimate suitor for him at this point. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it may have been that the terms of what they were talking about, that we've heard the framework was in place for a while. Maybe the framework was below what the contract came in. What I keep forgetting the guy's name, left tackle for the Rams.
Alaric Jackson.
Alaric Jackson. Yeah. So he got 3 years, $57 million. What if Ronnie was like, oh yeah, 3 years, $53 million, and now he sees this guy got 3 years, 57, and he's like, I'm better. I deserve more money than him. I want 65 million.
So then you sign him to a $65 million contract, and you call him.
I agree, but I think maybe that's what the hiccup is that they're trying to figure it out. But they still have a couple days. That's why I'm saying I think it's a Sunday announcement. I think they'll get it figured out.
I don't, because I think that I think he's a chief. If we're being honest, this is not like a doomsday thing. It's just that's the material.
He also watched Zeus go out there, and I don't think that was well received personally, because the Chiefs own the Ravens. I just don't, not that he necessarily chose where he got traded to, but the fact that he demanded the trade and just
only time we've beat the Chiefs is when they had Orlando Brown on the roster. So I would
and we kill the Bengals, and he's just decided to go to the two teams that recently have really been the two teams that the biggest problem.
He has never beat the Ravens as a member of another.
Hey, put your AirPods back in the case and take them back out again. That's what we need to do.
Fuck you. You put your AirPods back.
Yeah, I think Kansas City could definitely come over the top with like a 3 year, 75, 50 mil guarantee type offer, and I don't know a scenario where he turns that down, but I'm a little more positive. I think that he'll be a Raven by tomorrow 6 p.m.
You think tomorrow?
Yep, tomorrow by 6 p.m.
Okay. All right. So you got tomorrow.
How do I
I got
sound now?
Monday. I think better.
How do I sound? Okay, good.
I think better. I don't hear echoing now. That was the big thing. We could hear ourselves.
I think you're both, we're being honest, and I don't think he's back. So,
I thought you were going to say we were delusional that we couldn't hear ourselves. No, we definitely could hear ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, all the mechanics are on you. All the audio, all that shit. That's not me, but that's fine. We've long hashed that technology. That's
well, yeah. As we've known for a long time, if I wanted to, I could just turn off the internet at your house because somebody a couple years ago demanded that I stop you from posting things on the internet.
You never did it.
Obviously, I can control that.
You never did it because you would have gotten your face blown off if you came to my house and tried to turn things off. But
no, I have a switch at my house. I can turn your internet on and off. That's how it works.
Yeah, maybe. If that's how it works, I would be not shocked. I don't know how any of this shit works. The fact that I can like turn a computer on and off is a modern miracle. But I think any hope for Ronnie Sarah died the second that Joe Tooney went to the Bears. So and that's our somber note on a more positive DK Metcalf to the Ravens. So I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty jacked up.
I can certainly see a path. For the frame. We're talking about framework again. The framework for a deal makes sense to me. I mean, they're going to trade DK somewhere. They need a tight end. We have one that we should get rid of that also has a history,
with their head coach.
Metcalf is a perfect complement to Bateman and Zay. That group of wide receivers. I would argue it's the best group of 3 wide receivers in the NFL, but there's probably an argument that could be made for another group that I'm not thinking of. But the difference between the 3 of them, just the fact that they all do different things so well, I think would be awesome.
Well, I don't know. I had somebody tell me last night, Calf plays small, can't run routes, can't make contested catches, and I forget what else and that Rashad Bateman's a better wide receiver. Oh, and so that means Rashad Bateman's better than him. So I don't know. Well, good compliment.
I think DK Metcalf is one of these guys that you will look at and be like, if he played, he's in the wrong era. Like he's in this group of wide receivers with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb and I guess Cooper Kupp was up there before. There's a whole bunch of really, really good wide receivers right now. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. There's a lot of them. And if DK Metcalf were at the point in his career where he's at right now, like 5 years ago, I feel like he would have been one of the guys you talk about in that top 3 to 5 in the league.
On top
But-
of that, if your argument to not bring DK Metcalf in because you already have Rashad Bateman, you're a fucking moron.
Right.
I
They
just-
could not
I-
be more different. And listen, we have been on Rashad's ass for a long time, but he earned a lot of grace.
He's
now
got
we want more.
750 receiving yards. Like
But he was extremely efficient. I mean,
right, but he was a fucking zero before last year.
No, yeah. But look, I bet you cut me off. I'm saying now, giving him the grace that he deserves for the performance he put on, because people ask. I said, all right, well, his career average is what, like 375 yards and 32 catches and a touchdown. So I said that's what I think he'll do this year, and he basically doubled. Well, not doubled. He had 45 catches. He had 756 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's a super productive year, big leap. And what I was going to say is now let's see him continue to grow on that, right? You got to build on that. And like he would tell you the same thing. He doesn't want to have a 45 catch, 750 yard season. He wants to wants 75, 80, 90 catches and 1,200 yards. I'm not saying he gets there or doesn't get. I'm saying his goal isn't
So I think
45 catches and 750 yards.
I think by congratulating Rashad Bateman the way that people are, you're like patting the special needs kid on the head after they let him, score an uncontested layup in on senior night or something like that. Like,
well, not me. I hope you're not talking about me.
No, I mean you are though. He is a guy that we drafted in the first round to be our wide receiver one in a wide receiver franchise. He was supposed to be the guy that came in and made everything better for Lamar Jackson. He was the weapon that we need. And all I got to hear about is physical skills, and he can run routes.
What's funny? His career stats
suck ass.
Other than catches, actually, even with catches, I should look at the number. But I bet Jamar Chase has, from his 2024 season, has
probably
Rashad Bateman beat on his entire career.
But that's my point. Is that he had such a fucking low bar this year coming in that being moderately successful has people into thinking that he is this fucking irreplaceable great wide receiver. He's not that good. He was very good in the red zone this year.
Yeah, I am not. Look, I'm not trying to be one of these people who's propping him up. All I'm saying is I was on his ass and I said he was going to have 30 catches and 350 yards and 1 touchdown, and he blew those numbers out of the water. So all I'm saying is my expectations of him were exceeded. So I'm giving him credit for exceeding my expectations. Now I want to see him exceed what he just did again and continue to build on it. That's all.
Yeah, he won a tallest midget competition. Congratulations, pal. Good for you. You're still not good. Still whiny little bitch. Stop getting your nails and thinking that you're wide receiver one, dressing the way that you do, and actually put up 1,000-yard season. If you look at the list of guys with Rashad Bateman's career, there are some absolute fucking that have put up 1,000 yards. I'm not impressed.
All right, you guys ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready for this.
So Rashad Bateman's career stats: 51 games, 138 catches, 1,923 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Jamar Chase in 2024, 127 catches. That's 11 less than Rashad Bateman has in his entire career. 1,708 yards. That's 215 less than Rashad Bateman in his entire career. 17 touchdowns. That's 4 more than Rashad Bateman has in his entire career. So, yeah.
I bet you.
Putting in perspective, people talking about, Rashad Bateman's better than DK Metcalf. Are you fucking crazy? DK Metcalf is a bona fide wide receiver one on most teams. Now, Jamar Chase is a freak. So, a handful of guys you can say he's not wide receiver one on that team. But DK Metcalf comes here. You have wide receiver 1A, 1B, him and Zay, and then you have Rashad Bateman. And that's a great group. I mean, most teams can't say they have two wide receiver ones and a guy who has wide receiver one upside.
And
he
I
scored
also think
9 touchdowns this year.
It's not being mentioned enough, but DK Metcalf has never been the guy who got the most targets.
That's true.
Tyler Lockett and JSN have gotten more targets than him every year. So he's also used to working not being the primary target. He doesn't need to be fed the ball.
Yeah, he's used to the timeshare. He may want more targets, and he probably will get them. So that's another benefit of if we trade. Oh, hold on, Grant's here. So is Trippy. Shit, missed both of them. if we trade Mark Andrews, that creates a lot of targets to go around. So
Yes, it does.
like this, there's not enough targets thing is bullshit. If you trade Mark Andrews, you create opportunities for other people.
All right, so now that we have the real reason we brought Yuri on, other than Isaiah Likely tweet.
Wait, hold on. Before you do that, you were talking about DK Metcalf. I'm 1,000,000% on board. Like
We didn't even let Yuri talk about it either, so we'll let Yuri talk about it after Greg.
Like when you think about it, like key points, EDC said, like X is a huge hole that is something that we've never had. DK Metcalf is a prototypical X. Like what he brings outside the numbers, from the bottom of the numbers up. Like
you missed that. You missed that, Grant. Listen,
it's nuts.
He plays small. Everything about him small.
Play small,
but it's the way that so you got to think about the entire concept of an offense and like how an offensive coordinator thinks is spacing, whether it's field or boundary. Like they think about spacing. When you got a guy like DK Metcalf that can play the true X and he can play outside the numbers, what you're doing is you're opening coverages up to the middle of the field, which opens up your Isaiah Likely, your Zay Flowers, your Rashad Bateman run the more intermediate routes and more towards the inside. But the only concept is like I would not give up a first and a third for him. I'd give up a first by itself at most, at complete most, because there's nobody at 27 that you're going to get that'll impact the team like that. And if you get DK Metcalf, you're talking about this offense went from the number one offense to the number one plus offense. Like there's a lot of things you can do.
Only reason I'm not giving up a 1 for DK Metcalf is I don't think anybody else. You still have to pay him. So
I agree. I think theoretically he's going to be
the art of the deal.
Yeah.
I want a first and a third. You're not getting you're not getting a first round pick.
Yeah,
like when they talk about primetime quarterbacks, they're like, I want 3 firsts. If you give up 3 firsts for any quarterback, you're a fucking nut job. Like completely. Like
or I think Drew's about to say, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You put out, I want a first and a third, and some dumbass picks up the phone. Oh, well, hey, you want a first and a third? I got that. All right.
Theoretically, it's going to be
I don't even think Cleveland has
second
a
at
first
most
this year, do they? Maybe this is the first. Does Cleveland have a first round pick?
Yeah, they picked second overall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is the first year that they have a first round pick for a couple years.
I think they had one last year. I could be wrong.
I can't keep track of what they gave away in that fucking.
They're such fucking losers. They don't even like right world anymore. I forget the Browns are football because of just how fucking poorly managed they are. They just restructured Watson again today. So before today, his dead cap hit for this year was $173 million. $173 million on a $279 million cap. So they restructured it. That's his dead cap, not his cap hit. I think his cap hit's like 46 or something like that.
That dude is running that dude is running the player personnel basically for $1 billion organization.
Yeah.
And my 13-year-old could be like,
dude,
hey, you know what? I'm not going to do that.
They must Jimmy Haslam. That's the guy who owns the team, right? The pilot Flying J guy, right? Who I believe.
Oh, is that where he goes money?
The FBI investigated and he paid severely for whatever the fuck he was doing. So
probably trafficking. If you run it, if you're running truck stops, he's probably trafficking.
They had a $172 million dead cap hit if they or 173 if they cut or trade him this. So they restructured his contract to create $36 million in cap space. By the way, after that, they were like $24 million over the cap. So they were operating at a deficit to begin with. They had to do the restructure because there's no way you're going to reclaim that much cap space anywhere else. So now they're at $24 million, which is not a whole lot, especially for a team that sucks. And they've just pushed $36 million into the future.
So here's what I thought about earlier.
They had a $99.7 million dead cap hit on next year's cap already, and now they just added $36 million to it. So now they're back to 130. They still owe $136 million against the fucking salary cap on this guy's contract.
What's the over under that they're paying him longer than the Mets will still pay Bobby Bonilla?
Well, the funny thing is they've paid out all but $46 million of his cash. So the guy is going to be paid in full. But
theoretically, he's on cap.
They're going to owe their roster. They're going to owe their roster after that $46 million paid. They're still going to owe their roster $90 million. So they have to figure out where to eat $90 million. It's crazy.
What's that ORI? What's that ORI right now? Drew, you're the guy. What's that ORI right now for like Watson's production for the money?
Can you say that? Can you say that one more time?
I said, what's the ORI right now for
You mean
the
ROI? ROI?
Yes.
ORI?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Oh, did I say it? Oh, I meant ROI. Yeah,
He was at Buffalo Wild Wings. Give him a break.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was having a great time. It was buy one get one boneless night.
Yeah, did they slip you a couple tall beers, and now you're talking about ORI? I was like, "Fuck, is this guy talking about?"
Yeah.
I was at Buffalo Wild Wings early. I don't blame him.
Hey, so ORI is like an off-road company I used to work back in the day. That's why I was thinking ROI.
Yeah,
but go ahead. Yes.
It's zero. How long until they start setting him up with massage therapy? Try to get him to get another accusation and cut him. Well, I mean, that's got to be their next move.
Here's the reason that I think they don't really care is because there's this weird insurance clause in the CBA where if a player gets hurt, they can claim insurance money against the cap. It's some weird like mechanism. I don't know, but remember how he self-reported that he re-injured his Achilles?
Yeah.
So they're going to get some kind of like credit. They're getting the money, obviously. They're already getting the money back. So like they're not actually like they're paying him, but they're getting all that money back from insurance. And there's some mechanism where it gets credited to them. I don't know if it's against the full amount. I don't know. It's some weird loophole. They are exploiting that, but it is easily. I was thinking about this earlier. There's worse contracts in sports that have been written, but it's the dumbest by far.
Not even close to worse contracts.
No, right. Like Anthony Rendon might be the worst contract ever.
Steven Strasburg was a terrible contract. He pitched like 1 year of it before he got hurt. Rendon's a terrible contract. True. I mean, there's a bunch of baseball ones that you can go through, and they're not even fucking
But
close.
This is the dumbest. This is the dumbest contract, especially when you combine it with what they gave up in draft capital.
Hold on, and I got one for you. I got one for you too. Think about like percentage of cap, like positional percentage of cap. What's a worse contract? Albert Hainsworth back in 2008 or Deshaun Watson in what?
Watson
by a billion. It's not
you can survive even though you're eating it on that guy's contract. You can go plug in another defensive tackle, and the guy's going to go out.
But $100 million for a DT.
No, I get it. I get that. Like, but what Watson is forcing them into now is there's basically no cheap option for a starter in the NFL. It's expensive no matter what for a starting quarterback. So they're having to then slack in other areas to offset that because they're paying Watson so much. He's eating so much cap space. They have to pay a second quarterback who's reasonably, capable of being a starter. Sometimes they have two of those guys on the roster because they don't know who it's going to be, and then they have to skip somewhere else. So and it's going to be somewhere important because if you're taking away that much money just on the quarterback position, then you don't have a whole lot of options. Other places are going to suffer. That's why the fucking Browns suck every year. They can't put a complete roster together.
And think about the quarterback market too. Is like there's not anybody out there that you're going to pay for, but theoretically for a veteran, you're going to pay more because the quarterback draft class is weaker this year. So it's going to inflate a lot of contracts this year. Like Sam Darnold's going to be in a bidding market. He had a great year last year, but he's not going to have Justin Jefferson wherever he goes. And, I think Kevin O'Connell he's an offensive guy and like his coach. I mean, he's an offensive. He's one of you consider an offensive genius. So, but like when you think about like what Sam Darnold, if he goes somewhere else, are we going to get like the Sam Darnold of the Jets? Are you going to get half of between?
The funniest thing I saw was that he's a possibility for the Jets to sign. Like, are you fucking? What are you? This is like terrorism.
Oh my god!
Bring that guy back.
So somebody needs to do the Wolverine meme with the Jets logo on the face and then Sam Darnold in the picture.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's insane. I can't imagine that he would entertain that. Fuck it, that would be suicide.
Real quick, DK Metcalf. I think the question for me is are you renting him? Are you extending him?
He needs to be. He demands to be extended. He's not going to approve a trade otherwise.
Right, and I don't feel entirely comfortable going over a number of $25 million a year for him. I wouldn't.
That's fair.
I wouldn't go up to 30 for DK Metcalf. I do think there are some drop concerns. Obviously, like, yes, he's an X. Yes, he would fill that long-term need that we've needed.
He blocks.
Yep, and I just think
block.
that there is a certain number with every player that you meet, and I think with him, if he's willing to take 25 a year, which is not a low ball by any means, I'd be down with it. Probably third round pick in a late day 3 pick or something like that would be something I'd be down with. But I think once you get in that second round pick range, that's what I'm starting to like. Seattle, like, you need to eat some of this cap hit.
What about Andrews in a third or a fourth?
I mean, like, yeah, okay, like I do Andrews in a fourth for him, but it just depends. It just depends on whether the Ravens plan on moving him or not.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
plus,
25 is fair.
if you get Andrews off the books too, that gives you a little bit more flexibility of what you can pay DK up front. So when you have to extend next year, it kind of you've already gotten big cap hits out of the way. Hopefully,
Yeah.
kind of get them to work in tandem there. But yeah, so we're all in on Calf. Anybody who thinks that Rashad Bateman is better than him, or thinks that Rashad Bateman existing prohibits us from acquiring DK Metcalf, is a fucking moron.
Wild.
Yeah. And so now the real reason. So Yuri and Grant are draft nerds. Draft's obviously
Draft
coming
people.
up.
We're people.
Oh, hold
Yeah,
on.
people.
They share another thing, and I'm putting this up because the two of them and Naldo are gonna have a circle jerk about this shit. No, this is
Naldo. Yeah, Naldo.
Naldo's new brand on Twitter is just responding to any comment that anybody has about wide receivers and says, "Oh, we got Tez, we're good."
And guess what? And guess what? The same motherfucker saying we got Tez is the same motherfucker saying who's better, Bateman or DK? Like, bro, this shit. I want DK, man. I don't give a fuck if we got Tez. I want DK. I want
the
more
difference between Naldo and morons you're talking about, Trippy, is Naldo's doing it to be an asshole. He doesn't actually think that Tez Walker is better than DK Metcalf. He's just being a dick. It's probably the Ohio State kind of stuff, but yeah, that's not a real from Naldo. He is just.
I'm gonna buy his first Will Howard jersey. He's gonna be really excited when I get it from him too.
Yeah, I'm glad that you got fucking buried for your awful Ohio State quarterback takes on McCord and fucking a Howard asshole.
Yeah. What's Will Howard's first jersey? Like a fucking Papa John's delivery shirt? He's not.
Jersey.
Yeah, he's not fucking. He's not getting drafted after his shit at the combine.
He'll go fifth at worst.
I got a hot to be lining up against Grant in his, fucking Sunday men's league.
Oh, it's Saturday, first of all, bitch. I can't wait to clothesline the shit out of him.
Yeah, he's going to you're probably going to sack him like 6 times. You're going to throw 3 picks and be like, oh, wow, this guy sucks. Never mind. I was wrong.
Yeah.
At
that point, I would admit I was wrong.
So his combine performance was one thing, but how about him getting like fucking bullied by the security guard?
I didn't see that.
Was the Rose Bowl? It was the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Right.
he said Naldo said he's somehow going to be a Raven. Man, that shit was funny.
Oh, no, not the Rose Bowl. It was the game that they beat Texas in to get to the national championship.
Yeah, that wasn't the Rose. Whatever game.
Whatever that was, it was some extra.
Oh, when they wouldn't let him in, I did.
Yeah, when they wouldn't let him in, and he just stood there like, yeah, that's like when nobody went to Bo whatever's birthday party in draft day. Come on, Bo Callahan's birthday party. Will Howard got dominated by a rent-a-cop on the side of the stage.
I'm gonna use that. There too. Like when I pick kids for my son's team, I'll be like, "Hey, how many kids went to your birthday party?" And then we're gonna go from there.
You got to tape $100 bill to make it all the way through.
I got two questions. Are you a wrestler? And how many kids do you have to your birthday party?
And then Grant makes these fucking 4th graders take the Wonderlick test.
Yeah.
No, you should see him.
Meanwhile, Grant got a 6 on the one, but we won't talk about that.
I still scored higher than once. Who was it that had the epically bad one?
It was the worst.
It was a quarterback.
Jamarcus Russell, I think. Right?
Yeah.
He had like a 3 or something, or a 2.
I think he spelled his name wrong on it.
At least beat somebody.
Yeah, I mean, being smarter than Jamarcus Russell again is not really accomplishing. So
it was an alarmingly low score. Like
I took.
I'm not sure if you can write your own.
Like
name.
on the SATs where like you get 300. Well, back in the day when me and Will, but like you get like 300 points for spelling your name right. So like that's all he got. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, That was a thing for, and there were kids in my school that did not get those points because they couldn't figure it out.
That explains a lot. Explains
Yeah,
a lot.
you get credit for just coloring in the lines on the
That's
SAT.
why I graduated, top like 5% because there was a lot of
Congratulations. Congratulations.
morons.
There was 10 people in there.
No, there was like 300, but probably 50 of them are, like working at, Walmart greet at the
The
moment.
fuck is this?
Will Howard is.
That's what I said.
We already talked about. Try to keep up, Will.
I didn't hear that we were talking about him being a Raven. That's disturbing. Fuck you,
I'm starting to
Naldo.
think-
What's wrong with you, man?
I'm starting to think Will might score on the Wonderlic test too. But,
He might get 5. He might get 5 because I did say, damn, that was funny.
Unbelievable.
But anyways, continue.
So Grant and Yuri are draft nerds. Grant has a list of running backs, his BDSM list of running backs. I have a question for both of you. Do you want him in Baltimore or not? That's the midget, right, from North Carolina?
Yeah, the midget.
Hey, sure. Hey, look, excuse me. When you address him as the midget, you have to say All-American midget, first team All-American midget when you address him. So
He's 5'10".
right.
If he stands on a ladder, maybe team All-American. But fucking 5'10" guard and start mocking him. It's like, are you guys among individuals who want
I would
him in
love to
Baltimore?
have him. Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
He's got a unique skill. He's
I
low
mean,
level to the ground.
It depends, but
I mean,
I
like,
don't want no midget.
he's shown the production. But did you saw him at the Senior Bowl? He held his fucking own. He stoned. What's the dude from Kentucky? The big DT.
I also watched.
Stoned him.
So I watched him lose UConn in a bowl game. So I don't know.
But did you pay attention to Will Lampkin, or like are you just saying? That
No, he was too
we all
small.
saw they lost him.
He was too small, so I got there on the field.
I'm not usually a big fan of the little engine that could stories, but he has a longer wingspan than Will Campbell, who's going to go top 10.
Who's attacking?
Will Campbell had some of the worst combine tape I've ever fucking seen. I don't even watch the combine. It was so bad that it just showed up on my For You page.
Anyway, he has the natural leverage. I really don't know what's going to happen with him the next level, but if he were end up playing like center or guard and end up working out, he is very hate to use the word, but he is very feisty in the run game and can certainly turn people for how little he weighs.
He's an angry elf.
We've been making sign Cole Jackson for years. Cole has been like, promoting himself as being available to be signed by.
He said 5'11". He said 5'11", not 5'5". Like you gotta differentiate.
I mean, Cole's probably like 5'7", and Lampkin's 5'10" in cleats. Like
he's 5'8" in the AAU program.
Cole wouldn't even make the practice squad.
Yeah, we're doing it.
We know that. We know that. He knows that.
All the 5'10", 5'11" middle school offensive guards like myself, he's doing it for us. So I want him to go out there and.
Yeah, but Yuri, there's a reason that you're no longer playing football. It's because you were a 5'10", 5'11" guard. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason I didn't play football past high school, and it's because I ran like 5'5". Like
man, that's because you went to Dundalk.
Yuri's also not 280 or 270, whatever. So like,
Yeah, but I mean, like,
I should have been. I should have been. Should have started drinking then.
Yeah, start early.
Yeah, I understand how anybody can look at a 5'10" guy and be like, yeah, that's my guard of the. So
why do you care about size? Like, if the guy blocks and the guy produces, then who gives a shit?
He's a fucking
midget.
Not really.
We got a fucking giant at right guard that looks like he's trying to tie his shoes every time he tries to pick up a stunt.
Yeah, right. So we have somebody who's too big at guard. So the response to that is.
Okay. So let's just meet in the middle. What do you?
Yeah,
I agree.
How about we get 3?
Hey, no Falele slander, please. No Falele slander, please. Come on now.
David and Goliath are 2 guard tackles. Our guard duo.
Willie Lampkin would go up to fucking Falele's shoulder. He'd look like his little brother. He'd look like the Make-A-Wish kid out. We can't have that. Maybe he could be a wide receiver.
We love a feel good story. We love a feel good story.
I know.
Maybe we can switch him to pass. Maybe we could switch his position to pass rusher. I don't know.
Maybe
if he were to fall like 5 to 7, this is a question too that I never thought about. First team All-American, would he be like the latest pick of a first team All-American?
Yeah, because he's a fucking midget.
Round?
He's a fucking.
He's
midget.
a first team All-American. He outplayed the bigger people.
Jason White was a Heisman undrafted. Like, it doesn't matter. You're playing in college. He's a fucking midget in football. Like, no. No.
You're talking about a quarterback with a fucking stacked ass team versus a shit football team in the fall with a guard on a terrible offensive line, and all they had was a running back. And
so
like
he was part
you
of the
want to,
terrible offensive line because he was a fucking midget. Again,
he was the only thing they
you're
had
making
on.
my point.
So no,
You're
you got
making
to
my
think
point.
about. No, shut up. You got it. Like you're a first team All American on a terrible offensive line. What does that say?
Yeah, fucking sympathy. First team All American. It's like Josh Allen's MVP. People felt bad for it. Like, oh, here you go, little here. Have this first team All American black. God.
He falls past round 4. You run the pickup. I don't. You figure it out.
Absolutely. You sprint.
I cannot be.
All right, I'm good with it.
Can't be bigger
Past round
than
4,
anybody.
sure. Why not?
No.
We have 1,000 picks past round 4.
Yeah, and
Who gives a fuck?
I don't want a fucking midget offensive lineman.
Oklahoma, Willie Lampkin versus Drew Ban.
I'd murder him. He's
You're
small.
nuts. You're
He's tiny.
nuts.
He's a
He
little
sent
guy.
you to the. He sent you to the 7th row.
Put my hand out and
He took 6'7", 340 Dylan Walker to the shed.
He did.
Yeah, because that guy's too big.
Drew doesn't watch the Senior Bowl though.
No, I don't watch. I'm not. I don't watch.
I think Yuri was like at the Senior Bowl.
Probably. But see,
It probably was.
Was there?
I was at the scene. I'm only an hour and a half away. I'm like, fuck it, I'll go.
Drew's making fun of Grant for watching it on TV, and meanwhile Yuri got in his car and drove.
Hold on. It's much better to go to the Senior
I'd
Bowl
be there
than
if I was
watch
close.
television.
Fuck yeah.
That's just a great coincidence.
Yeah, but it's much more reasonable to go watch it happen in front of you than watch it on television.
No.
Did Naldo just show midget porn?
I don't know. I don't look at the comments.
Is that a URL?
No, I don't know what that is.
It looked like he catch some shit. But
all right, so anyway,
sounds like a great segue to go back into Grant's BDSM list for top 10 running backs.
I asked Grant about the midget guard because both of them are going to have an individual as the number 1 running back in the draft, and I want you guys to understand that individual goes to the same school as the midget they just spent 20 minutes hyping up. So take their list with a grain of salt.
Hold on, did you call him a midget running back or a running back?
No,
Are you calling everybody midgets?
I called Lampkin and Hampton.
I was gonna say because Marion Hampton is definitely not a midget. So
yeah, he's bigger than your fucking offensive lineman you've been hyping up. But my point is that you guys are more biased.
You walked into that, Grant.
I did. I backpedaled.
Yeah. Hey, you walked right into the fucking midget guard, and your bias take. Continue.
First team All American guard. When you do it, you got to finish the whole thing.
Midget.
First team All American midget.
That's fine. Still a midget. As long as
right.
you know that he's in, then I'm okay with that. On your future offensive line list.
No, I'm gonna put him as the giant Willie Lampkin. All right, so I'm gonna go 10 back to 1. So 10, I have Devin Neal. Think he's got elite ball security. He's got a lean to his run. Big gainer. He's a really efficient runner. So, a lot of people have him actually like top 7, but I think there's a lot to where he does a lot of things okay, but the things that he doesn't do great are concerning. Ball security is always like number 1 for me. Like, do you produce? Do you take care of the football? And that's what we'll get into where I told you, Drew, I'm going to explain to you why there's a certain person number 1 and not number 2, because there's a little ball security issue going on there. But Devin Neal, I have number 10. 9, I have Dylan Sampson. So Dylan Sampson's a good short yardage guy. Really fluid in his movements, knows how to read inside zones, knows how to really make his decision. And one cut inside goes against the defensive grain. So I think a lot of people have him higher too than I do, but there's a couple of people that I have up in front of him that a lot of people have later that I am more intrigued by. So 8, I have Khalil Mullings, your guy. I think he's a physical inside runner.
Should be one of 2 Michigan running backs on it. We might be able to get to that at a later point.
But I mean, you got to think about like Edwards was like the guy, like preseason All-American type. Like, he had all the train when Blake Corum got drafted. And Mullings is a big guy, but he doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires. So it's either a positive or a negative because he doesn't have the experience. But what he did last year, and when I watched him, I'm like, dude, this guy, like, he's fluid. Like, he's patient. He's fluid. He's broad and he runs hard, but he's not like, and that's the thing I'm going to get to with somebody else too. But like, he runs hard, but you wouldn't act like you wouldn't think he runs hard the way he runs, but he does. He's efficient. He's a big gain guy. He moves the chains at will. I had one note here. I said he's a high IQ runner. because he understands the fluidity of the offensive line, and you could tell by when they run their powers, when they run the traps, when they run like their inside zone concepts, like he knows where to be and he knows how to stride it out, and he can make somebody miss in the backfield to make a play moving forward.
Because he used to be an inside linebacker, knew how to defend them, so he'd know.
So even though I'm an old guy and I'm in an old league, but I'm an inside linebacker by trade, but I coach running backs because I understand pursuit of the defense and I understand what defenses read when they see certain offensive fronts. So I teach my running backs how to cut against the grain, how to maneuver vertical.
Might be why I brought that up, but
you're big brain tonight. I see that.
Yeah. Little smarter than the other.
Look, 7, I have Ollie Gordon. Had a pretty rough year last year, but I think it's more attributed to the roster around him. I mean, he was a Doak Walker Award the year before that, 2023.
Didn't deserve it the year before.
But he's a whatever. You had JJ McCarthy at quarterback. Yoga was an option. But like I have him as like he's a big back and he can carry the workload. He can be your workhorse. Like he catches the ball effectively out of the backfield. He's really good in the screen game. He's powerful. He's big. I mean, he's 6'1", 230. And so but he runs well. And I think last year is going to make his draft stock drop. But I think through the interview process, when people watch film and everything and understand, pay attention to 2023, and you're going to find out who he is as a running back.
Does it scare you that he went from production and kind of overuse? I don't want to say being a non-factor, but he definitely wasn't the same guy. And so, is he going to last, or is the tread off the tires at this point?
No, I think the gas is there, but I mean, when you look at what was around him, they were bad. Like that was a bad roster. And and even though we talked about and joked about the North Carolina thing, North Carolina was not a good football team in the fall, but it was more like self-inflicted wounds. The situation with Ollie Gordon is that it was more personnel. It wasn't self-inflicted. It was just they just conceptually were bad coaching, bad fronts. But he's still, you respect a guy that's that big that can do what he can. And you kind of take last year for a grain of salt, because if you are a team that's looking for a big physical running back that is a 2-down guy, potentially 3, because the way he catches the ball in the backfield, you could think about getting him. He might go to the 4th round, 3rd round. Something like that. So you're going to be like, hell yeah, I'm going to take a shot at this guy. And you have a lot of what he reminds me of is David Montgomery, and the way that you could utilize him in your offense as far as the screen game and running inside. 6, I have Cam Scatabo. He got a lot of hype late. Everybody heard them, whatever. Man, he is a fun tape to watch. That dude is fun to watch. One-on-one, nobody is tackling him one-on-one. I don't care who you are, where you're at. Second and third level, nobody's tackling him one-on-one. Defensive line, sure, but he's my note for him was he runs like a maniac. He's low leverage. He's 5'9". He's another midget for Drew. Drew would be all about him.
Midget running backs are fine.
But the way he contacts balance and he doesn't go down, he doesn't quit, doesn't give up. I mean, there's tapes of him dragging 4 guys 7 yards to get into the end zone. I mean, he's 5'9". First contact at the second level, rarely does he go down. His issues, ball security. And like I mentioned earlier, ball security, he lost, I think it was, hold on, I had it here. He lost 4 fumbles, or he had 2 fumbles last year. And when you watch him run.
There's trustworthy about him, though.
Yes,
I just feel a little bit more comfortable with the ball.
But the ball security with him isn't as strenuous as it would be with more of a zone runner, because when you watch how he runs and how reckless he runs, the fact that he only had that amount of fumbles is kind of miraculous, because your conception to random punches, helmets, when he's ducking shoulders, he gets hit in the legs, he's spinning out of something, doesn't know where he's at. For a running back, ball security is a big issue or a big thing, but I don't take into consideration his fumbles because they're not crazy. But when you watch him run, you know why they probably should be about quadruple what they were.
I mean, you just got a high IQ, motor doesn't stop.
He's a dog. He's like Danny Woodhead on steroids.
Oh boy, here we go.
You missed my earlier
you missed the meme.
So
but I want to make sure.
A white running back show about
first guy in, last guy out.
Yeah. Hey, Grant, before you switch to your next pick every time, consult Yuri on these too, because Yuri actually
Yuri's a
Well, I know. I was gonna run
a deep catalog. I'm just making sure. So me and Drew.
Yeah.
I mean, like I know who Cam Scatabo is, but like some of these guys, you're going deeper than like most people. Care.
I was gonna
like
run through, and then I was gonna let
Yuri
Yuri
Yeah. You're you're casting light on people that otherwise some people might not know of. So, but yeah, Yuri probably knows all these people too. So I just want to make sure that we're
And I'm gonna go through, and then I'm gonna let Yuri just light it up. 5, I have Judkins, Quinshon Judkins. So a lot of people have him a lot higher. He's a recent mine, like national championship recent, had a big game. But I think he sets up his defenders well with his cuts. I think he's a big physical guy. He can catch the ball. He's a receiving threat. He's got a lot of burst, not a lot of power for as big as he is. Like I would expect him to run a little bit harder than he does, but he's more of a lane guy, which is okay. I mean, if you utilize and trust your offensive scheme, you got the lanes, trust the lanes, but he's not gonna run somebody through for his size. Like when you think about it, I mean, he's 6 foot 220, 6'1", 225, something like that. So I mean, I think he's strong on contact. He can absorb contact, but he's not going to be a guy he's going to try to outrun you versus try to make a play past you. 4, I have Caleb Johnson. A lot of people are really high on him. Have him number 3. I think he's a great zone runner. He's got a lot of patience, vision. He's like max potential. Like if I could compare style, it'd be like a Le'Veon Bell style. Like really patient, makes a decision, he goes. His acceleration is okay. For as big as he is, he's another one. He's not a big power guy, but he's also ball security big. 0 fumbles last year. So, the workload that he took on, 0 fumbles. I think he had 4 for his career over 2.5 years, 3 years. But he uses his size to his advantage. Like, and I mean that is not a big power guy. When I talk about power, I talk about running somebody the fuck over. He's not going to do that, but he knows how to use his length. Like if he gets an edge on somebody, gets a lane, he's going to put his arm out, stiff arm somebody out. He's not going to try to run through them. He's going to use his size to his advantage in a different way than be a physical runner. 3, Travion Henderson, big fan of his. I think he's a home run hitter. He's very underrated. He had Judkins, like splitting carries, those types of things. But he's got another elite ball security, no fumbles last year. He was a rock star coming out 3 years ago. He's
never beat Michigan.
He's never beat Michigan, apparently. But he's an instinctive runner, and he's got constant feet. Like that was one thing I said about him. He's got constant feet. If you watch him, the way that he manipulates his runs, his feet don't stop. Whether he's going to cut back, he's not going to cut back all the way. But if he gets set up by a guard or somebody makes a great play on the defensive side, his feet don't stop moving. He doesn't put his hand in the back and pause. He keeps his feet moving, changes levels. And that's another thing that I teach my running backs is like change levels at all times. No matter what you do, whether you're making a move inside, outside, whatever, whether you're stepping back, anything, just make sure your mind and your momentum is forward. So even though you have to do a step back, if you step back, make sure it's a granular step back. And everything that you do is a forward movement. So every cut's forward. Going against the grain is forward. Every movement, 45 is forward. 2, Ashton Genty, obviously. He's got burst, big play guy, home run guy. Ball security is the thing for him. He's got 9 fumbles over the last 2 years. If I'm going to invest in a first-round running back or much less pick somebody in the top 15, I'm going to be very, very, very skeptical about a guy that puts the ball on the ground. Yeah, you could talk about workload. That's another thing with him is he's had a huge where he had like 380 carries last year, and 290 of them were in the last 8 games of the season or something. So like there's a lot of wear and tear that's beginning to accumulate, and he's a home run hitter. He is. It's not to discredit him. It's not saying, oh, he stinks, he's number 2, whatever. But Heisman candidate, everything, but he's not. I feel like he's going to have to be in the right system. He's a running back that's going to have to be in the right offense. Whereas my number 1, obviously, is Marion Hampton. You could facilitate him into any offense. He's a big back. So Ashton Gentry is 5'8", 210. Marion 6 foot 6'1", 220, 225. Like you're talking about when you watch Marion Hampton, my favorite thing with him is he does not quit ever on any rep, any play, anything. He runs through tackles. He's physical. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He can manipulate zone. He can manipulate traps. He can power. He can do whatever you want him to do, and he does not stop. And he could have easily hung it up last year. And I think it's a lot of it for me why I put him above everything. He's such a team dude, and he's such a he wants to be great so bad that he doesn't care about the situation. Team sucked. Carolina had a rough year last year, but he came out every week and balled the fuck out. And with, a really bad offense in a sense, no stability at quarterback, one great offensive lineman. He's a really big guy. Willie Lampkin is huge, monstrous guy. But you look at Marion Hampton, and he was the entire offense, and he did not resonate to anything else but being successful no matter the situation. He's aggressive. He's elite vision. He takes care of the ball. He had, 3 fumbles last year, but he only lost 1. When you see how many times he got hit in the backfield last year, it would blow your fucking mind. Or how many times he had to make somebody miss in the backfield last year. But he's got power, speed. He's got everything. And I think that if you're talking about an all-around back, that's why I put him slightly above Genty. So Marion Hampton's 1A, Genty's 1B. But I put him above that because I trust the ball security, and I also trust what he can do in any offense. He's not going to be an NFL structured running back. He can 3 down, control any type of offense. That's
Yuri, are there any that you think Grant missed, or anybody that you strongly disagree with before I kill Grant versus Genty take?
I think Damian Martinez definitely deserved to be on that list. Out of Miami, he's to me another really complete 3-down back.
Here.
And Bashal Tutin from Virginia Tech, fastest running back from the combine. Another guy I think definitely deserved to get on that list. It's a great class of running backs. I mean, there's a lot of flavors to pick from: zone runners, gap runners, guys that can find the lane, guys that can stretch horizontally. But those two I think come to mind in terms of people who probably deserve to be on that list of the top 10. Real quick, if you don't mind, I'm going to run through my 10, and then
before you do that, I'm going to tell you why I didn't have them there. So Damian Martinez, it was a fight with Dylan Sampson, Devin Neal, and Damian Martinez, and I just like the way that the other two played on tape versus the way they could fit multiple NFL offenses. And the only reason I kept Tutin off is because he's had 10 fumbles in the past 2 seasons, and I was like, can't be in my top 10. You got 10 fumbles in the past 2 years. But he's explosive, exciting. He's got a lot that he can do. But, man, I saw that 10 fumbles in 2 years, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. To me, I'm willing to bet on the athletic ability 10 times out of 10. And that's not to say that the people ahead of him was not a better athlete. I do only have a couple minutes left, so I'm just going to run through my list 1 through 10. So 1, I got Hampton as well. I agree with you there. He's a 3-down back. Yeah, I'm biased. I really don't care. He's to me is like a Jamal Lewis level of prospect. He will come in and probably in the right offense and put up 1,500 yards if you give him enough carries. 2, Genty. I don't think Genty's a bad prospect. He's home run ability. Definitely sure there's concerns about him maybe being worn out in a college hype up, but no, I don't see it. I think he can come to the NFL and probably go somewhere like Chicago and kind of has the same impact that Gibbs had. 3, Trayvon Henderson, kind of sticking with Grant here. Trayvon Henderson is a lot like Mostert to me. I think the explosibility is there. I think he's a lot better of a receiver than Mostert as well. But
that's a great comp, by the way.
You see the ability to fit zone. And I think if he goes to a West Coast Shanahan type offense, like the Rams, I don't know if the Rams need a running back, but if they ever did, Trayvon Henderson would be really cool. Corum, maybe not so much. I know.
Yeah, they need a running back.
Michigan running backs suck in the NFL.
Wow.
And then 4, I'm going to go Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. I think we're still on pace here with Grant. Same thing, very, very, very downhill in terms of getting up the field and where he wants to go. That was something I saw. I do appreciate his ability to pass protect. I think he's a little more green around the gills than some of the other guys I'll have behind him in that sense, but I do see the upside there. Number 5 is Judkins out of Ohio State. Judkins is very compact, very Gus Edwards-ish in terms of his ability to break tackles, be that physical runner, but also very nimble, a lot more smoother than Gus Edwards. 6 would be Devin Neal out of Kansas. I'm a big fan of him. He reminds me a lot of like a I'm trying to think of the guy from not Antonio Gibson. It's forgiving me right now, but
Brian Robinson.
It might. I think that's who I was thinking of.
The guy who got
is
shot.
Brian Rob? Yeah, the guy who got shot in the leg. Brian Robinson. I think that's the comp that I'm close to with him. Definitely enjoy his ability to just be an explosive playmaker, and I think obviously before Brian Robinson got shot, he was pretty explosive. Obviously, his knee exploded when he got shot, and things happen, and you move on. But 7, Scatabo. David Montgomery is my similar comparison for him. Definitely think that he can do pass blocking, catching, receiving. Like I said, there's a lot of complete backs in this class. A lot of guys that can play 3 downs, which is great. In a 2-high safety league, you need guys that can play 3 downs. Which one thing that I hope the Ravens can come to a way of figuring out how to get the best players in the field, and that certainly starts with hopefully Derrick Henry being able to play 3 downs more, and not coming off the field. But anyways, side point. Number 8, I would go Damian Martinez. All the things I said before. I'm ranking him here over Dylan Sampson, but the ability to be that one-cut zone runner is just something that I can't get away from him. It's another plug him into a West Coast offense, he'll be fine. Number 9, Tootin from Virginia Tech. I'm just gonna bet on the athlete. The speed was definitely there on tape. The receiving ability was there on tape, and I don't see a way where he gets in the NFL. And the fumbles happen, but this is someone I could legitimately see being put in the slot a couple of times throughout the game because of his ability to receive. That's how much I believe him as a receiver. And there's not a lot of film on him as a receiver, but in the limited reps that I did see, I felt this guy could definitely be one of those gadget Antonio Gibson type of players. And then 10 would be Sampson from Tennessee. He's a good player. It's a great running back class, and I've said it one too many times throughout this list of running down, but there's really a lot of guys. Once you get past 4 or 5, you're they're all graded similarly. I can't go wrong with one of them. It's the NFL is all about flavors, fits, and styles. And a lot of teams have different schemes. And one of these running backs who I have ranked lower could go to a team that has a good offensive line, has a good scheme for them, and they just go out there and they outproduce year one. And that's the way the way it is with running backs. Is the system around them usually benefits.
I got a question for the draft nerd.
I'd say that running back and edge are the 2 deepest.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, a defensive line's a pretty close one with edge.
Yeah, interior. Go ahead, Trip. Sorry.
Hey, for the draft nerds, it was a running back. Well, I got 2 running backs, but it was one running back. I'm surprised y'all didn't say. How y'all feel about RJ Harvey?
He was on my list too.
UCF,
so he's a baller. He's quick. So now he went in my top 10. So I have an alternate I guess honorable mention, and I had Brashad Smith, Raheem Sanders from South Carolina. I had Martinez, Tootin, and I had RJ Harvey.
All right, and another question: how y'all feel about Taj Brooks out of Texas Tech?
Trippy bringing the deep knowledge. I love it.
I think he's limited. I think he's a big guy. I think he facilitates himself into the offense that might fit him right now. But I don't think he's a guy that's going to make any sort of an impact on the NFL. I could be completely wrong, but I didn't have him. I didn't have him in my top 20.
He's more like that Hassan Haskins.
All right, I got another play for y'all. Because now, shout out to the draft nerds. I don't mean to keep saying it like that, but Hey, what about the kid from what about the kid from Kansas State? DJ is it Giddens?
I'm
saying his name right? You know what I'm talking about?
DJ Giddens?
Gibbons. Yeah. What about him?
He's not. He wasn't
You
in
like
my
him?
top 20, but I mean,
Damn,
sixth, seventh
don't say
round,
he wasn't
maybe.
in the top 20. Never mind.
No, that this is for me. Like this could be. I mean, he might be top 10 for somebody else or top 12, but I'm saying for me, like I did my top 20 and he wasn't in it, but I did watch him a little bit, and I mean, he's another guy. He, like I don't want to like discredit him, but he's a guy. You know, this is a really deep running back class. So like, you know, thinking about like the types of running backs in this draft, you know, Yuri and I ourselves, you know, he had Martinez and Tootin in his top 10, and I had them 12 and 13. So like, you know, like there's a lot of variance and like depending on preference of the running backs in this draft. But theoretically, I mean, Giddens could go in 6th round, you know.
All right, my last question. I'll let you finish though. My bad. Go ahead. No, but I think Gibbons could go in like the last round or 6th, 7th round, but still maybe be impactful on a team. But you know, the thing with running backs is so weird. I mean, like think about Keaton Mitchell, like Gus Edwards, like, you know, undrafted guys that like made huge impacts and like it did. Running back is a super weird position. It's about like who you want to put in the right situation and if they land in the right situation. I mean, I think theoretically there's 2 running backs that could potentially possibly go in the 1st round, and that's Hampton and Genty. And like you're talking about some GMs like Hampton won, lot like Genty won. So I mean, you're talking about 2 guys, and Genty had a historical season. But I mean, Travion, if he went 2nd, I wouldn't be surprised, but it'd be like mid-2nd.
You and Yuri are the human beings on the face of the earth that put Hampton over Genty. I refuse to
It's not
believe.
true. It's not true.
Nope.
Chill out,
refuse-
man. Why you hating on Hampton, man?
Because he's not as good as
Why
Genty.
you hating on Hampton, man?
Because he's trying to fuck with us, Trippy.
How can you like a 5'8" running back, but I bring up Willie Lampkin? That's a problem.
Bingo. Go ahead, Yuri. Talk to him, Yuri.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a midget. You like a midget running back? You like midget running backs?
Being a short running back is a weapon because you can hide behind your offensive line.
Can you?
Yes.
Yeah, you sure can.
Hey, Drew,
Not
who
if
your
they're
favorite,
5'11".
Who your favorite midget running back from
true.
Michigan?
My favorite midget running back from
Yeah.
Corum. Blake Corum, easily.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say Josh Hart, but
Blake
not Josh.
Corum is like 5'4.5".
But look,
Yeah, Blake
Corum. Oh no, yeah. Wait a minute. Blake Corum is shorter than Genty.
Yeah,
Gotta
Blake
be.
Corum can find the holes in the goal line and score every fucking time you give him the ball inside the 1. So
Because he crawls and you can't. He's not down till you touch him.
That was such a weird pick. The Rams picked Blake Corum, and they have Kyron Williams, who has scored a touchdown in like 17 of his last 19 games. He scores touchdowns.
No, he's
Kyron Williams.
He sold a couple.
You know why? Because Notre Dame has better running backs that come out than Michigan. I mean, don't shoot the messenger.
That's not even a fucking competition.
Wait a minute.
Grant, you're not allowed to talk
agree.
about what better at what position after
Grant,
you're
I agree.
It's fine. I'd be upset too.
So everybody in here agree except for Grant that Michigan running backs when they come to the NFL they trash. Because I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think of who. Right, but I'm trying to sit up here and think like who came in the NFL.
The guy's name is on the tip of my tongue, but he was there. Well, T.J. Duckett's gone, right? T.J. Duckett was a Michigan guy, right?
Yeah, but he was kind of a like that wouldn't have worked if he didn't.
He's basically a fullback. He was like a fucking Mike Tolbert.
He wasn't on that album, so that's kind of.
You must be talking about the running back that played for the Colts. What was his name? He played for the Colts. The running back played for Michigan.
That was Hart.
Yeah, Hart. What's his first name again?
Mike.
Josh.
Yeah, Mike Hart.
Mike. I don't know why.
He was terrible.
Right,
he was a great college player.
Josh Hart.
Right. I'm thinking about basketball. My bad.
Yeah, no. Mike Hart was he was an amazing college player. He was great, but
I think Edwards would be a good. I think Edwards would be a good running back. But I think
Donovan Edwards will be a good third down back. He's a receiver.
Yeah, I think he's more of a speedster. Right, I think he's more like a speedy back. So
the reason
he would be a guy we would take if we didn't have a Justice Hill on the roster
or Keith.
Right. Yeah.
Donovan Edwards needs to be in a Montgomery type backfield or an A-Chain and Mostert type backfield where he's not on the field every play and he's not asked to win the tackles.
He might end up in Miami. They cut Mostert.
Yeah, he could.
Did it?
I liked putting Mullings on his list just for bias purposes. The two of you having Hampton over just like a travesty. I don't even know where to start.
I mean, if we're comparing weight and sizes, 5'11", 200. 5'8".
Yeah, but Grant's rationale was that your entire offense, like your team sucked. So, you know, use your entire offense is good.
Well,
Whereas
I mean,
Genty was Boise State's entire offense, and they made the college football playoffs. So,
I mean, their defense was really good though. Boise State defense was pretty good.
it really wasn't that good though. I mean, it was fine.
pretty-
It was okay, but again,
It was a
like
lot better than UNC's.
you can't say that is better than Genty. I refuse to accept that. You are the human beings, North Carolina fans, only ones who think that. I refuse
Better
to
pass
believe it.
protector, better receiver.
Oh shit! I left a running back out, draft nerds. What about the dude Kyle from Rutgers? I can't pronounce his last name though. He was tough, bro.
I ain't watched him.
I mean,
I haven't watched him.
Look, outside of the 10 I listed and maybe a couple others, I really haven't gotten a running back like that.
Hey Grant, when you get a chance, bro, look at him, bro. His name Kyle something with an M. I ain't gonna lie, bro. He tough, bro. I remember.
I'm gonna Google Kyle something with an M.
I'm gonna get the name. I'm gonna send it in the chat. But yeah, bro, he was tough though. I was watching the
If you send in the chat game. Kyle something with an M, then I'm look.
No. I'm gonna find his name. I got his name. I'm gonna copy and paste it.
So before we got on here, just to pull the curtain back a little bit for anybody who's watching this, Trippy's like, I don't really like this time of year, and now Trippy is coming up with these fucking.
No. It's a no.
I know who he's talking about too.
It will.
He's pulling names out the hat.
It will. It's a reason why. Like, I'm not going to get it.
Listen, Trippy, I get it, but I'm telling you, the funniest shit that comes out of this podcast is this time of year because we're forced in these situations where we're just trying to talk about basically nothing's happening. We're just creating shit to talk about. And you're talking about, so you're trying to tell people about a guy and you say something with an M. That's fucking great. That's
so.
But it's like. No, it's kind of it's kind of weird. Like, the reason why I don't like this time is because, like, I mean, I can ask y'all because I know y'all gonna give me the truth. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I feel like when it's certain, I mean, I can't get into full details about situations, but like when you give out your opinion, it's like for instance, I said, and maybe y'all could tell me how y'all feel about this real quick. I don't want to hold y'all up, you know, because I know Jake on time or time running out, but like for instance, I made a suggestion in the Raven space the other day. I said, look, right, I feel like if we don't sign Ronnie Stanley back, I feel like it's going to be a setback for the offensive line. And people started going off like, no, I mean, he been here this long, what have we done without him? Only reason why I said that because we're going in the third year with Todd Monken, and I mean, basically the only position that we probably got to fill in is left guard. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like if we got to replace the whole left side again, when we just had to replace the right side, I just feel like it's going to be a setback. You feel me? And then,
setback's the wrong word, but I get where you're coming from.
Trip, you missed. I think you missed it at the very beginning. We were talking about this, right?
Oh no! I ain't missed it. I was just going back off what I heard in the space. I heard what y'all said, but I was just
There's a left guard from the University of North Carolina.
Don't forget, BT's not here, Will. So you took a minute to bring me up. So.
No. Listen, I take full responsibility for that. I'm not used to being the guy who's looking for windows.
Yeah, so we have BT. But setbacks describe that, Trippy, but it definitely alters the course of our offseason because left tackle.
What word would you use so I can stop saying setback?
I would say that
calamity.
It changes the direction you go in the offseason. No, but like if we don't, you have to address left tackle. So your focus from left guard, dealing with the defense in the draft to like you have to make left tackle your priority. So
I think I called it I said if we lose Ronnie Stanley, it's a catastrophe. That's what I called it. So calamity and catastrophe are pretty close synonyms.
And plus, I think EDC, like, he even took accountability last year, said, he kind of fucked up on the offensive line, letting Kevin Zeitler go. So, I mean, doing it back-to-back years, although I don't think he's going to overpay for Ronnie. But, I mean, I don't know.
The reason why Zeitler was a mistake was because he got so little money to go to Detroit. That it was
right.
Yeah, and they were already paying him the void year for him, so it would have been a raise him too.
They ate it.
Yeah, you were paying him $2 million more. If you let Ronnie walk because you guarantee him, $60 million over a 5-year like that, like we're never going to pay that. So it's not it's not that EDC dropped the ball. It's that just got flat out outbid, and so it fucks with your offseason.
Right.
Well, would it suck if he leaves? Absolutely, but like. I would not even think twice. Like, do not overpay him whatsoever. I mean, they felt pretty comfortable last year where they were talking about like if it were to move forward, that Roger could potentially move to the left side. I'd feel more comfortable trying to find a right tackle than a left tackle if you feel confident about putting Roger on the left side.
I just think you gotta make sure left tackle nailed down, and there's no question. I do not want another Alejandro.
This is not the year. It's not the year. It's not the year to be fucking around with the offensive line this much.
If we're shuffling the offensive line for like the 4th year out of like 6-year Lamar Jackson, just kill him, man. Just fucking kill him.
But I do have a question.
Like, what is the continuity? The interior offensive line, we can approach that in a lot of different ways. Free agency, we got a real deep offensive line class. It sounds like.
Hold on,
right?
real quick though. What is the height and weight of Villanueva?
Wasn't he like 6? He was like 6'9".
It's fine. He ain't a midget.
He was 7'9", 465 pounds.
Yeah, he committed.
He's not a midget. He's great.
He committed 48 war crimes.
Exactly, Drew.
You know, he was a fucking war criminal. Like, what do you want?
Midget lives matter. Fuck out.
Yeah, look, I do gotta say one thing though, right? I feel like the off season, like it's like 3 main focuses we need to focus on. 3 keys we need to focus on, like positions, like the trenches, both defense, offense. Also, like this shit. I feel like we've been having this problem since my man rest his soul, Jacoby Jones, been gone. Like we need a true kick returner, like.
They kind of killed kickers with the new NFL rules.
The new rules.
But if we can get like a fast, shifty kind of dude that can, read his blocks, like you feel me?
Vontae Turpin, I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like him. Yeah,
Let him
feel like
take screens.
I would like it for us to get an established number 3. If Tez Walker's your guy for the young guy, you're going to keep on the roster as like your 4. I'm good with that. But then you get some kind of veteran who, your kick returner and can maybe give you a home run play on offense. So like a Turpin, somebody like that.
But if you get DK, that moves Bateman to 3. I think pretty fucking awesome.
Right. 3. So you have those 3, but then when you get a Tez Walker at 4, you get a Turpin at 5, and you draft somebody to be your like wide receiver 6, like you're set at that. So
if we get DK, my bad. If we get DK, I feel like. Whenever Bateman contract up, I think his ass gonna get up out of here.
I think his ass gonna get up out of here no matter what. Like he thinks he's better than he is.
Like
bullshit because DK and him can paint each other's nails. They're gonna be all right. They're gonna be great teammates.
I wouldn't say shit to DK Metcalf about him painting his nails. I'll tell you that much.
Right, because we know what he could do.
Yeah, that
but
guy.
He's like 6'4", 230. Rocked up.
Fans out here talking about Bateman's the best. Deep threat and all this, like, all right, bro, he had one good season. Can he do it again? Like, come on, like, prove us wrong.
But he didn't even have a good season. He had again, his bar was at the fucking floor. He outperformed no expectation. Like,
how many
times? You can't lie. You can't lie though. He exceeded your expectations.
How many
touchdowns?
Because
all of us were like, damn, there's Bateman. I gotta give him his flowers. Like, he had a good year. Like, I thought he had a good year.
I want 1,000 yards. 10 touchdowns. That's what I want.
That's Zay's job, Trip. That's Zay's.
No, that should be Bateman's job too.
Right. He was a fucking first-round pick. Like, fucking
ideally.
Play like
now, I ain't gonna lie, and that's another thing too. Like Bateman, like on that, man, fuck that. When you caught that second pass in Buffalo, man, you should have scored, bro. I couldn't believe he ain't scored, bro. I'm all yelling this shit thinking he scored. Remember when
I can't believe we didn't fucking score. Yeah, but then like, we had Ronnie Stanley running a fucking route, 2nd and goal. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Let him go.
Right, it's all mucking out here talking about that's why he unfollowed me because I'm out here critiquing shit. Like, that shit crazy, man.
Yeah, hey, Todd, how about you don't fucking send Ronnie Stanley out on a fucking route, 2nd and goal?
I can't wait to see
That was such a wild watch back. I'm like, oh shit, okay, here we go. We're on 2nd and 1. I want to. And I'm watching on film, and I see on it says on the NFL Pro thing, Ronnie Stanley's reported his elbow. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe they're going to go on the jumbo, and then I see him fucking go in a flanker out and like just go in the flat, and I'm like, oh sweet. I was fucking put him up there. I'm like, Jesus, this is what we're doing. Hey, anyway, fellas, real quick. I gotta go. I don't know who that is. I gotta go. I appreciate you guys having me on.
It's the ugliest chick on the planet.
Yo, why the fuck her legs look like that? What the fuck?
You're the man. Look, she's standing on her tippy toes.
Is that our new kicker?
No, she's the best pitcher to ever step foot in Boston.
I'm waiting for Drew's input.
I
He
can't.
can't see it. He's
I can't
sitting
see it.
fucking. He's sitting in the nosebleeds right
Oh.
now, trying to watch Leonard
All right.
Skinner on the front.
What's happening?
I ain't gonna lie, that mascot got some fat ass New Balance.
I'm talking about Wally.
Yeah, Wally got some big ass.
Anyways, fellas, I'll see you guys around.
All right,
Yuri.
man.
All right,
Appreciate
Yuri.
you, dude.
Thanks, bud.
All right, Grant.
Man, Yuri got the mustache going on, looking like Joe Flacco over there.
All blur, all cloth, homie.
Yeah, somebody called him Paul Skeens, and I was fucking dying.
Yeah, the first comment was stop reading is exactly what Yuri has as a fucking off-duty officer. But it definitely looks like he's looking to commit some crimes out in public. But what was I going to say before I was rudely interrupted?
You were trying to pull up the picture on your BlackBerry. You couldn't figure it out.
I have an
Raven
iPhone.
signed Ronald Darby back.
Bring Ronald Darby back.
Yep.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I mean, don't bring Drew. That would be the thing.
No.
No,
Oh,
don't fucking do
hell,
that.
what?
I saw that and I was like, please no. Like,
Bro, Duvernay run like he got big ass shoulder pads on, bro. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah, don't bring Duvernay back. Don't bring Hollywood Brown back. Good on
That's
that.
very specific. I love a very specific grudge. You hate his shoulder pads. All right, cool.
Bro, that's how man. Like my homeboy used to say that about Justice Hill. He said he run like he got big ass shoulder pads.
I like
feel
that.
like that's the same thing with Duvernay. But I do want us to bring Tyler Wallace, bro. I think if we don't bring Tyler Wallace back, I'm gonna crash.
That's fair.
Right.
Well, now that the chat is getting porn
Hold on.
fucking infested.
Brandon
No. It's done.
Brandon Ace
It's done.
Asked a legitimate question. I forgot to bring this up earlier. Sign Joey Bosa. I don't know what the pushback is against signing Joey Bosa.
Injuries. That's it.
I mean, contract dependent. I mean, why not?
No.
Yeah, so you're signing him to a Jadavian
fuck, bro?
Clowney contract. You're signing him to a one again. I mean, why not?
It's got to be
That's
the center
a
base.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe a 1 year, but I don't know, Drew. It's just because I hear fans keep saying, let's get rid of Oway. Let's get rid of Oway, but we about to bring in a player that fucking only played like 16 games in 9 years, two times? Like,
if you're signing,
That's why it depends on money.
Yeah, if you're signing Bosa, you're signing him to a 1 year contract, maybe a 2 year contract. It's mostly incentives. It's you're looking to see if he can earn more snaps. You're not bringing him in to be your primary pass rusher in the offseason. So
I don't think you avoid, like, if somebody falls that's capable, like Shamar Stewart, Mike Green, like somebody like that falls at 27, you consider taking them. I think Joey Bosa is an additional option to, like, if he pans out, he pans out, just like we thought about Clowney.
Yeah, and just like Van Noy, it's a trash heap guy. If that's the money, somebody gives him real money, then I'm all set. I'm not interested in that.
yo.
Yeah, fucking this
Anyway.
that's why Jake's trying.
What's up with Ron?
Anyway.
In the chat, man?
He's gay.
That man been drinking too much horny juice. But
Hey, Drew,
anyway,
get your friends in the chat, man.
that's gonna do it for this week's installment, motherfuckers.
Trippy, notice what's going on in the background.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. That's been happening for we can
Yeah,
go
it
around.
has.
Man, say he's trying to caress your bed.
Yeah. When Raul,
He sees his ball hair. He's trying to suck on some balls.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking slit his throat, but it's fine.
There you go. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this week. We'll be back to discuss this, that, and the other, and get into the next segment of Grant's BDSM list. But meanwhile, it's time for me to die.
That was a good one.
Zone 32.